Federal agencies hit hard against Sinaloa and CJNG cartels across 21 U.S. cities, seizing $200 million in drugs, fentanyl, meth, cocaine, weapons, and assets. Over 5,000 arrests made, including cartel members and corrupt officials. Chicago emerges as a major fentanyl hub, while labs, warehouses, and money laundering networks were dismantled. Authorities warn the operation disrupted one of the deadliest drug supply chains in the nation. Investigations and federal prosecutions continue. Cities, federal agencies launched one of the largest coordinated operations in history. The DEA, FBI, Homeland Security, and U.S. Northern Command executed a synchronized strike targeting the Sinaloa and CJNG cartels. Thousands of agents moved simultaneously, breaching homes, warehouses, and safehouses. The scale of the operation was unprecedented, aimed at dismantling organized crime networks responsible for drug trafficking, money laundering, and corruption. Authorities confirmed more than 5,000 arrests, including cartel operatives, distributors, and corrupt law enforcement officials. Investigators seized over $200 million worth of narcotics, including fentanyl, methamphetamine, and cocaine, alongside military-grade firearms, pill presses, and encrypted ledgers detailing financial transactions. Cities. Chicago was identified as the central hub for fentanyl distribution. Shipping routes ran from rail yards, interstate highways, and cargo airports, moving synthetic opioids throughout the country. The cartels operated like multinational corporations with logistics managers, chemists, and enforcement units acting as private police. The organization stockpiled drugs, shipped them to major markets, collected proceeds, and laundered money through shell companies, cryptocurrency exchanges, and legitimate businesses. Law enforcement. Several county sheriffs, federal officers, and border inspectors were implicated in facilitating drug movement. These officials accepted payments, provided intelligence, and obstructed investigations. Federal prosecutors emphasized the unprecedented scale of internal compromise and the challenge of restoring public trust. Fentanyl, the synthetic opioid at the heart of this operation, was trafficked in powder and pill form. A few milligrams can be lethal, making the seized quantities capable of causing thousands of overdoses. Investigators reported that these drugs had already contributed to rising overdose deaths, straining hospitals and emergency services across affected regions. Schools, first responders, and communities have had to adapt, carrying naloxone to respond to frequent emergencies. The investigation revealed a complex global supply chain. Precursor chemicals were sourced from China and India, transported to super labs in Mexico, and converted into lethal doses of fentanyl. Finished products were smuggled into the United States through legitimate trade channels, hidden in produce shipments, cargo containers, and migrant flows. The operation's success required months of intelligence gathering, surveillance, financial analysis, and coordination between multiple federal, state, and local agencies. Economy. Funds were invested in real estate, car dealerships, nightclubs, and other businesses to disguise the source. These financial operations supported ongoing cartel activities, including armed enforcement, bribery, and logistical management. Authorities emphasized that dismantling these networks required targeting both the physical supply chains and the financial infrastructure sustaining them. During the raids, agents encountered sophisticated defenses, including armed guards, hidden storage compartments, and encrypted communication systems. Some suspects attempted to destroy evidence, but coordinated entry prevented the loss of critical intelligence. Investigators documented detailed supply routes, financial transactions, and internal communications, allowing federal prosecutors to prepare comprehensive cases against the organizations. The operation also exposed human trafficking linked to cartel networks. Vulnerable individuals were coerced into labor and exploitation, moved between locations to avoid detection, and controlled through threats and violence. Authorities described a systematic approach into maintaining control over victims while sustaining criminal operations. Evidence gathered during the raids provided insight into both narcotics and human trafficking networks, highlighting the scale of organized criminal activity. Federal prosecutors are preparing charges, including drug trafficking, conspiracy, firearms violations, money laundering, and human trafficking. Convictions could result in decades-long sentences. Officials stress that dismantling these organizations sends a clear message. Organized criminal networks operating inside the United States will be identified, targeted, and prosecuted to the fullest extent of the law. No level of corruption, organizational sophistication, or intimidation can shield perpetrators from justice. The operation disrupted major drug corridors supplying fentanyl, methamphetamine, and cocaine across the nation. Millions of lethal doses were removed from the streets, preventing deaths and limiting distribution networks. Authorities stated that while no single operation can eliminate drug trafficking entirely, dismantling major supply chains significantly reduces availability, violence, and harm to communities. Officials warned that continued vigilance and interagency cooperation remain essential to prevent criminal networks from reestablishing themselves. Were affected by the cartel's operations. High population areas with dense urban corridors experience increased drug-related violence, gang activity, and overdoses. Emergency responders reported overwhelming demand due to fentanyl-related incidents. Hospitals, schools, and public safety agencies were forced to adapt to the threat, illustrating the broad societal impact of organized drug trafficking. Officials emphasized that sustained pressure, intelligence-led operations, and financial investigations are critical to dismantling complex criminal organizations. Removing drugs from the streets, securing supply chains, prosecuting leaders, and exposing corruption are all necessary to restore public trust and community safety. Authorities noted that collaboration between federal, state, and local agencies was vital to the operation's success, ensuring simultaneous strikes prevented suspects from escaping or reorganizing. The surge against Sinaloa and CJNG highlighted the evolution of modern criminal enterprises. Cartels no longer operate solely as gangs. They function as multinational networks with corporate-like structures, including logistics managers, chemists, financial planners, and armed enforcement units. Their operations extend across borders, involve large-scale narcotics production, money laundering, and corruption, creating a sophisticated and resilient criminal ecosystem. Federal agencies continue to investigate remaining elements of the network. Additional arrests are expected as analysts review seized devices, financial records, and communications. Authorities maintain that while significant progress has been made, continued efforts are necessary to prevent these criminal enterprises from adapting and resuming operations. The investigation serves as a model for future enforcement efforts targeting organized crime on a national scale. The operation demonstrated the importance of strategic planning, intelligence gathering, and interagency cooperation. Months of surveillance, financial tracing, and logistical analysis allowed authorities to map networks, identify key operatives, and execute simultaneous strikes. Federal leaders emphasize that such coordinated efforts are essential for dismantling large, sophisticated criminal organizations that threaten public safety and national security. The impact of the arrests and seizures is immediate and long-term. Removing narcotics, dismantling supply chains, and arresting high-level operatives disrupts the cartel's operational capabilities. Communities are safer, and law enforcement can reclaim territory previously controlled or influenced by criminal networks. Authorities also highlighted the role of public support and community reporting in identifying criminal activity, reinforcing the need for ongoing vigilance. Federal agencies praised the professionalism and courage of agents involved in the operation. Coordinated raids across multiple cities required precise execution, rapid decision-making, and adherence to safety protocols. The operation serves as a testament to the effectiveness of unified law enforcement action, combining intelligence, tactical response, and legal prosecution to confront organized crime. Investigators confirmed that the operation prevented a catastrophic public health crisis. By intercepting millions of lethal doses of fentanyl, methamphetamine, and cocaine, authorities removed a threat capable of causing thousands of deaths nationwide. Every shipment seized, every warehouse dismantled, and every lab shut down directly prevented overdoses that would have overwhelmed hospitals, emergency responders, and local communities. Officials emphasized that targeting the criminal networks themselves, rather than just street-level distributors, was essential to stopping the flow of drugs at the source, disrupting production, distribution, and financial systems simultaneously. The scale of the seized narcotics was unprecedented. Investigators reported finding fentanyl laced into counterfeit prescription pills, concentrated in powder form, and hidden in shipments designed to mimic legitimate trade. Even small quantities of fentanyl can be fatal, meaning the seizures represented millions of potential fatalities. By removing these drugs from the streets, authorities effectively saved lives that would have otherwise been lost to overdoses. Law enforcement officials stressed that the operation was a decisive blow to the cartel's industrial-scale poisoning of communities. Beyond the immediate public health impact, the operation exposed deep vulnerabilities within institutions tasked with enforcing the law. Corruption, negligence, and collusion were revealed at multiple levels. Federal, state, and local investigators identified officials who had facilitated cartel operations through bribes, willful blindness, or active participation in smuggling and distribution. This included county sheriffs, border inspectors, and federal law enforcement officers who were complicit in concealing shipments, providing intelligence, or obstructing investigations. The scale of the internal compromise was alarming, demonstrating how criminal organizations could embed themselves within the very systems designed to stop them. Federal prosecutors and oversight bodies acted swiftly, filing charges against officials found complicit in facilitating cartel activity. Investigators emphasized that accountability extends far beyond street-level operatives. Anyone using positions of authority to enable criminal enterprises will face justice. These prosecutions aim not only to punish wrongdoing, but to restore confidence in institutions critical to public safety. Authorities made clear that no badge, title, or office provides immunity from the law when used to abet organized crime. The surge operation also highlighted the sophistication of modern cartel operations. The Sinaloa and CJNG cartels are no longer simple street gangs. They function as multinational enterprises with corporate-like structures, logistics networks, financial managers, chemists, and armed enforcers. They operate across borders, coordinating production, transportation, money laundering, and enforcement with precision. Understanding this complexity was essential for law enforcement to plan and execute a successful nationwide strike. Agents had to dismantle overlapping supply chains, seize financial assets, and neutralize internal collaborators all at once. One of the most critical elements of the operation was interagency coordination. Northern Command and local task forces worked in complete synchronization. Surveillance data, financial analysis, and intelligence from multiple sources were compiled into a unified operational plan. This level of coordination ensured simultaneous raids across 21 metropolitan areas, leaving the cartels no opportunity to relocate, destroy evidence, or warn accomplices. The meticulous planning, real-time communication, and precise execution of each strike demonstrated a new level of law enforcement capability against organized crime. The financial aspect of the operation was as significant as the physical seizures. Cartels funneled millions of dollars through shell companies, cryptocurrency exchanges, and legitimate businesses, disguising illegal revenue as lawful investments. Real estate, car dealerships, nightclubs, and import-export businesses were used to launder money while sustaining ongoing criminal operations. By tracing and seizing these assets, authorities disrupted the financial backbone of the cartels, ensuring that arrests alone would not allow the networks to rebuild quickly. Investigators emphasized that dismantling the financial infrastructure was essential to ending the cartel's operational capabilities.